Today, we're planting sweet potato slips. My slips don't look the greatest because I've had them for a bit, waiting on a day that rain was forecasted to plant them. And that just hasn't happened. So I'm putting them in the ground today because it's overcast and we have a chance of a shower. But you can get these slips at like your local feed and seed, or I got these from some local Amish. You can actually make your own slips off of a sweet potato. So even one from the store. You can do this in soil or in water, and it will have these little shoots come off, right? And then you will pluck them off at the base, like at their base where the potato is, and put them in water, and then they root. So that's how you end up with slips. This variety is Covington, and I'm told they're a good yielder, good producer. And I did notice some at the local feed and seed yesterday. They had Beauregards. Theirs weren't near as long as this, probably because mine have been overdue. It's recommended to plant these a good 10 to 14 inches apart, 2 to 6 inches deep. I'm doing on the upper end either way. So I'm doing mine about 4 to 6 inches deep and at least 14 inches apart. This one was a tiny one, but you can see these. One of my least favorite things about planting down here in this plot is how far it is from my water source. So typically we don't choose to plant things down here that we know are going to require a lot of watering. And I've planted corn and it hasn't come up because we haven't had rain. So to make things easier while planting my sweet potato slips today, I hauled the water down here in cans. Sometimes I use buckets to have access to all the water I'm going to need to plant these without having to run a gazillion long bunch of hoses or have to, tote a can down here and go back and fill it up. This wagon is probably my number one favorite tool in gardening, is that wagon. I am dumping out of the bigger cans into the smaller can so that those cans, the ends on them are the sprinkler style, and I will waste water when I use those. So I use this one to go through. I'm sure I could get a different can that's bigger, but I just use what I have, put water from those into these, and plant. See how tall this is? This whole section really needs to be in the ground. That's a lot. So what I'm doing in the hole is kind of like this. Whether or not that is recommended is something we're going to find out. But like I said, my slips went too long without being put in the ground. And I don't want that much sticking up. So I'm just kind of like turning it. I mean, we plant tomatoes on their sides all the time. So hopefully this is okay. Also, I am planting these on the last row of this section in an effort to let the vines go this way. The vines are gonna trail. They're gonna get bushy and big. So you don't want them planted in tight rows. I have not planted in this row yet, and so I'm gonna have to be selective in what I put in that one because of the sweet potatoes in this row. But I'm hoping that I can go through, in the past I've been able to do it, go through and guide the vines every several days or whatever once they get going to come in this direction, so that I'm not having them take over whatever it is I choose to plant in this next row. So I'm back planting more sweet potato slips because I found these at our local feed seed store. So the previous ones I planted were Covingtons. These are Beauregards. We are gonna see if we have a preference. So Colton's helping me out, and I was having him pour water into the hole as we go along. And the other day I was complaining about how I couldn't get the hole as deep as I wanted to without a ton of effort. And then he just accidentally stumbles upon this method.
So you get it a little deep, and then you just pour the water in, some water, and then you can go
It like makes suction.
Yeah, it makes suction to where you can dig way deeper without hardly any effort.
These guys are helping me out because we've got sickness in the house, and me and my little ones aren't feeling top notch, and I needed to finish getting these sweet potato slips planted. And since Colton's done really got the method down, we've recruited Ellie to jump in and help us too. I'm very, very grateful for their help. Now the real question, you guys, do you like sweet potatoes?
If you don't like sweet potatoes, you're crazy. Exactly.
And just like that, Lord willing, we'll have some sweet taters this fall. Happy gardening, y'all.